A couple weeks ago I promised to show you the dual injection system. It is the dual injector. It does a laminate bait with a block. I'll get into that, but first I want to start heating up my plastics. It's plastisol. You can see it's just regular plastisol. It's not heated up yet, so it's milky white. I'm going to go ahead and throw it in the microwave while we talk about the dual injector. I like to heat it up with about a minute and a half on each, so we'll go ahead and get it started. Dual injector. The smaller injector is just the injector itself. It has the piston inside, just like that. But the dual injector is the same thing, same concept. It's just bolted together, which you can take this apart, and the tips screw off, just like the smaller injector. Pistons moving up and down the tube. But what happens is it comes into this block. The block comes with the dual injection system, and what it does, I'll show you guys. I don't know if you can see it, but this is what it does. The plastic comes out of the injector and comes down these tubes and comes out at the same time. And let me put these back together for a second. I'll show you. What happens is they come out of these two holes into the sprue, and it laminates the two colors. We'll get into that. Let me check my plastics. I want to slowly bring my plastics up to temperature. So right now there's no colorant, so I can use just the one knife. But I don't want to add a lot of air bubbles in, so you don't want to fold the plastic. You just want to stir it a little bit. Stir it some more on this one. And you try not to add air bubbles to it, or then you're going to need a vacuum chamber to get the air bubbles out. So we'll put it back on another minute. But the dual injector, it is just what it is. It's an injector, injects two different colors through the pistons out, and this sets the top of the injector, and then it sets down into the mold and it laminates the colors. What we're going to be working with today is the worm. We're going to do 4 of the Cinco worms, and then we're going to do the craw. I love this bait. It's a really nice bait. I've caught a lot of fish on this with different colors, different laminates. Started doing some chorus shots today. I'll get into that on my next video, how to do a chorus shot and not have to pay the exorbitant price for the chorus shot mold. Saw a video, a guy showed how to do it with just these do it molds, the Essential series. But anyways, my plastic, still see it, it's probably at about, let me see, it's about 220 degrees, 222 degrees. So it's getting there, so I just want to slowly mix it. I don't want to add air bubbles to it because you'll get air bubbles in the bait, which isn't that great. So we just want to slowly mix it, and then this is going to take a minute, so let me get this heated up and I'll be right back to you and finish up the dual injection system. Hey guys, I'm back. My plastic's about to come out of the microwave. Should be about the temperature. Then we'll start adding colorants and glitter. You can see the difference in the plastisol before. It's a lot clearer. And just want to do a temperature check. It's 295 and 311. So let me give it 30 more seconds while I clamp up my mold. And then by then we can get started on the plastisol and getting the colors right. I just use a bar clamp. A lot of people use different kinds, but I just find these a lot easier to deal with. You can clamp these suckers down and they won't go nowhere. But you get these clamped. I went with the crawl for the first mold. And then I'm going to do some Cinco worms, and then I think the last one is a rip bait. swim bait. They should be a good pour. The swim bait has 2 ports, so there's 2 fish swim baits here and there's 3 on this side. But you can see the sprue holes there already. I'm going to move around and try to make a little bit of room. I've got a lot of stuff to do here in a short. So I'll blast this off. It's coming out and you can see it's getting a lot clearer now. Let me steer it to where I can get a good temperature. You want to steer before you temperature check, because some of the lower could be hotter than some of the higher. You really don't want to burn plastisol. Nothing ends up well with it. I mean, you can't use it anymore. It's throw away. Yep, we're at 350, which is pretty good, and 373, so we're good with the temperature. 2 colors I chose is violet grape. These are from Lurecraft. I don't want to add a lot of color because you get a faded color, so I only want to add like 3 or 4 drops to the plastisol, and then go from there. Well, my tip is clogged. Oh, hold on one second. Let me clean the tip off. But you just add, 3 or 4 drops. My bad. I want to do that and then stir and see what color she's turning out to be. It's a really nice grape color. I really like that color. That's very nice. I actually put a little bit too much color in it. And the other color that I'm going to use is blue. And I'm just going to drop 1, 2, 3, 4 drops in. And then we're going to mix it up. See, the blue doesn't show as much, so let's add a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can always add more. Don't add too much when you're mixing. It's better to add less and then add more until you get the color that you want. We're going to go a little bit darker. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think that'll do it. And remember, you're not trying to fold air bubbles in, so just take it easy. Mix them slow. That's a nice aqua blue. What I'm putting into it is this glitter here is a white glitter. I want to measure those out and only put so much in each. I like to put like 1 scoop in. Then what I'll do is I'll mix it, and then if I need more, I can add more. If it's not enough, then you can always add more. You can't take it out once you put it in. So I like the way that's turning out there. That is real nice glitter. The purple or the grape, we'll put a brighter color in. We're going to go with silver glitter. And it's pretty bright, and we'll put 1 of those in. This stuff goes everywhere, and we'll mix it up. I know it's hard to see the glitter right now, but you can start seeing it come through. Yeah, that's nice. But what we want to do next is gauge the temperature before we start pouring. 319 is good, and 310 is good. Alright, let me get my glove on and get some stuff out of the way. I don't want to spill this stuff. It's really, really hot. But, alright, this is the dual injector. I want to pull back the pistons, take the caps off of both. Sorry guys, I got a phone call in. Let's get this mixed up. We're going to pour the blue in. We're going to fill that one up. And then that purple. Fill that up. All right, and as you can see, the two different levels in there. So what we're going to do, I got to work a little bit fast, so let me get these caps back on. So what we're going to do to make sure they're both the same level when I start injecting is put both together and push until both of them squirt out, like that. Now we're good, go. Then here is the block. I'm going to set it down on the first one. And slow, steady pressure. I'm going to inject it. We're going to lift. Go to the next. Slow, steady pressure. Then I'm going to make sure my sprues are full before I go next. Then we're going to go third one. The fourth. Filling up my sprues. I know it looks like a mess, but really isn't. Then I want to clear out both tubes by squirting it back in. The cleanup's really easy on these, the dual injector. You turn the top, unscrew it here. I'll show you what happens. As you can see the plastisol inside. Oh, you can remelt this stuff down, it's not wasted. And then, ow, it's a little hot. I'm going to use the hand that's got a glove on it. You can see both of them. When you push, it's all clear, ready to go again. The injector ports are clear, ready to go again. And the hard thing that I've noticed about it is lining them back up to go back into the tubes. But I mean, that's not hard. Let me get these screwed back down. You got time. I'm waiting for these to cool. There's nothing I can do until they cool for a few seconds. So, but I can show you what the sprues look like. This is the block that sort of just makes the magic happen. Get this glove off. You can see where this went down into the mold. You can see the two different colors that I've chosen. The same thing in the cups. Take the swing nut off, and let me get this lined up to where you can see what it did. What it does is take one color. This is the injector coming in this way into there, and then the second color, the other injector, comes in this way, and they meet in the middle here. So none of this is, I mean, you can reuse all of this material, you know. Pull it apart right there in the middle, throw that one in that one, that one in that one. I can remelt this down for another bait and this down for another bait. This block here is real easy to clean, which makes it really nice. You can burn through some bait, make a lot of different kinds of bait. There's no washing or anything. You just pull the daggum plastic off. But let's pop these off. It's been 2 or 3 minutes, and oop, really need another hanging system. But yeah, whenever you're pouring baits, I don't know what's in here. I don't know how good or bad it is. It's a crapshoot. You know, you could open the bait up or the mold up and it'd be a perfect bait, or you can open it up and say, dadgummit, gotta redo it. And that's just part of it. So what I want to do, slowly open it. Looks good. Looks like a pretty good bait. But if you can see it in the light, I'm going to try to show you what it does. The laminate, where the purple's on one side and the blue's on the other, it's a nice bait. So I don't know how to get that in the shot. But this is the sprue coming in. I usually don't, whenever I'm using laminates, this sprue can't go into either color, so I usually put it in my dog box and, you know, probably mix up something different. But this is any color, any colors you could possibly imagine you can do this with. But that's the first bait. I know it's kind of dark, but it's purple on one side, bluish on the other. Let me move on. These are the worms, the Cinco worms. Once again, I don't know what's in here. You see it as quick as I do. So, yeah, those didn't turn out too well. See, the problem is if you get a short pour like this, is what's happened is your plastics cool down too quick to pour all the way through the mold. But you can see the laminate real good in there, what it does. But it laminates them. What I'm going to do is melt this down and reuse it some other way. But that's what I'm saying. It's a crapshoot sometimes. You get a real good bait on some baits, and then sometimes you just get a bad pour. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it, or, you know, you can't plan for it. It just happens. But the real good thing about it is you haven't wasted anything. You can remelt it down and redo it again. These are the rip baits. Gotta go slow with these because the tail's a catch. Those look really nice. And this is another bait that, you know, all three baits are poured at the same time. The worms didn't turn out good, but the rip baits did. I mean, look, it's laminated. That's half the worm is the blue, half of it's the purple, and you pull it off the sprue, and real nice baits. But essentially, that's what this this dual injector does. It can do other things, which I've recently learned, which I'll be making another video on soon. But there they are. I mean, real nice baits. These two colors, I like them together.